Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And in this video, I wanted to speak on this title because I think it's very important. So it says T-Mobile wants an upstart joins the Giants. And I'll leave this article in the description down below so you guys could check it out. So before the Sprint and T-Mobile merger got officially approved, T-Mobile was always the smaller, a standalone player that just couldn't compete at bigger scale, meaning they wanted to compete more into the rural parts of the United States, and it just wasn't possible because they didn't have the funding to necessarily support that kind of scale. Now, with the merger closed, they are now part of the big giants, the big players. They now compete in that space. So people are going to challenge T-Mobile on its network size. It's still overall much smaller versus AT&T and Verizon, and it will continue to be that way for at least a few more years, if they even spend enough money to really fully reach parity with the big two, because they're still expanding. They're still gaining square miles of coverage every day. New sites are going up daily, especially AT&T with FirstNet. So that's something very interesting to mention because T-Mobile is now a big player. They now have 102 million total customers. That number will likely go up on May 4th as they report quarterly earnings. And the spotlight is on them to really sufficiently, effectively fund the network, get the network that much better, that much stronger, that much bigger. As they head into rural territory, they have to bring retail distribution, more retail stores, which is happening. They're rolling that out very rapidly too. But something that I was made aware of over the weekend, and this came from several people, they went into areas that they haven't been to in a while, and they're telling me N41 is exploding. They're rolling it out at a pace they've never seen before. They went to areas where once every other site had N41. Now it's continuous. Now all sites have N41. So they're rolling this out at a pace that's going to put them ahead at least, I would say, a year or two in the mid-band space. And for low band, the coverage part of 5G, that's likely a solid 2 years ahead of the competition because they've been deploying those dual band radios since 2017. So AT&T and Verizon, they will have their work cut out for them to really catch T-Mobile in this 5G space. AT&T is going to need further site densification. That's something that the team under Randall Stevenson really wasn't proactive on. There are still markets where AT&T considers the network to be a flagship network, and they still lag behind on densification. So site densification is just as important as spectrum, and AT&T has to fund that over the next few years to get that grid much tighter. El Paso is a perfect example. El Paso is probably likely some of the worst network grids that are out there for AT&T, but site spacing here is still roughly around low band. It's still literally built, the site spacing is still spaced for low band. That's not good. We're getting some sites here and there, but they're going to have to drastically ramp that up over the next 12 to 18 months. They're going to have to really push that to tighten the grid more for AWS, PCS, and band 30. The grid right now in El Paso is not spaced for mid-band. It's spaced for low band. So just keep that in mind. T-Mobile takes a massive mid-band lead into the 5G, which is completely true. They will continue deploying this year and next year. These next 2 years are their most heaviest spending on CapEx, $12 billion. That's $24 billion going back into their existing anchor grid, which is what they're building now. They're building the anchor network on the T-Mobile side, so they can migrate more of the Sprint customer without any interruptions into the network. like congestion or the network completely crashing. So that's what's happening now. Apparently, they turned it up another notch, and they will likely do that throughout the year. I expect them to be at 80-90% complete in my area by summer. That's the kind of pace that I'm tracking at this point in time. And I'm sure other markets that are even bigger, of more higher priority, are getting even faster rollout. New York City, Philadelphia, LA, the bigger markets, Chicago, they are likely seeing N41 being deployed faster than here. So it's a lead that they have to keep, I think. And if they lower capex in 2023, that's gonna be tough. I still see that as a concern. I know T-Mobile says they strike deals with vendors. They have a better efficient network, but Verizon and AT&T can do the same. T-Mobile is not special. They can call the vendors and say, hey, I want a better deal, better structure. AT&T and Verizon are doing that and have been doing that. Verizon just announced they had cost savings of $10 billion, which is massive. So again, in 2023, when the guidance shows T-Mobile to lower capex at least until 2026, that's when AT&T and Verizon are going to ramp up and thrive again with more spending, because that's the second half of the C-band clears. B and C clears in 2023. So that's when they will start moving outside of the top 46 PEAs, and they will go crazy again for funding that additional spectrum in the other markets that weren't part of the top 46 PEAs. That's when Verizon and AT&T again will probably raise capex again to fund that rollout even faster as T-Mobile lowers their capex. So just keep that in mind. I still think that's a slight concern of mine. And if they can manage the pace that they're at now, I think they will be at a good percentage of completion. Neville did state that for him to get to 200 million covered this year, he's going to have to physically touch more cell sites, which is completely true, because we're seeing that now. We're seeing more and more N41 in sites in middle of nowhere. So just be on the lookout in your area to make sure that you know when N41 and where it's going up, and it's going up at a very, very, very fast pace. So let me know what you think about that in the comment section down below. Look forward to reading your comments. If you have been on the channel or you're new to the channel and you have not yet liked, shared, subscribed, make sure you do so. Hit the notification bell so you are notified when I do upload content. Make sure to follow the social media outlets for more updates and interactions. This is Tyrone with Tech Life. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.